Imagine walking into a high-end dermatology clinic, sitting in the chair, and paying hundreds of dollars to let a doctor inject salmon sperm directly into your face.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a bizarre prank or, some dystopian science fiction plot.
It really does. But for decades, those literal DNA injections have been the intense, tightly guarded medical secret behind South Korea's flawless glass skin.
Which is just a fascinating pivot for the entire skincare industry. We're looking at a landscape where the boundary between professional medicine and at-home cosmetic products is just, well, vanishing.
Absolutely vanishing. And that is exactly why we are doing this today. We are pulling from an exclusive deep dive article by the K-beauty site Dewyfile.
Right?
And their focus is on a product that takes this wild clinical science and somehow puts it right in your bathroom cabinet. I'm talking about the MEDIHEAL Hyper PDRN Mask Sheet.
Which if you know, you know.
Exactly. And if you aren't deeply embedded in K-beauty forums, the name MEDIHEAL might not mean much. But in Seoul, this brand is practically a religion.
Oh, absolutely.
This specific mask is worn by K-drama stars between takes. It's used in actual dermatology clinics for post-procedure healing, and yet it is virtually impossible to find on the shelves of mainstream U.S. retailers.
It's like finding a unicorn.
Literally. So our mission for today's deep dive is to demystify the intense microscopic biology behind this mask. We're going to cut through all the beauty marketing noise to deliver the practical aha moments you actually need for your own routine.
I love that. And, to understand why this sheet mask is causing such a global stir, we really have to start with that rather shocking origin story.
The salmon sperm.
Yes, the salmon sperm. The active ingredient driving all this hype is called PDRN. That stands for polydeoxyribonucleotide.
Wow, say that 3 times fast.
Right. It is a highly bioactive compound made up of fragmented DNA. And as you mentioned at the top, traditionally, those fragments are harvested from the sperm cells of salmon or trout.
Okay, let's unpack this, because applying fish DNA to your face is, it's a lot to process. Wait, salmon sperm injections, how did we even get here?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the medical application of PDRN is actually decades old. It originated largely in Italy and South Korea.
Oh, I didn't know Italy was involved.
Yeah, and the thing is, doctors weren't originally using it for vanity. They were using it for severe burn victims and intense tissue regeneration.
That makes sense.
Right, because when you inject PDRN into damaged tissue, it seeks out and binds to a very specific receptor in human cells. It's called the A2A purinergic receptor.
So it's essentially a chemical key finding a specific cellular lock.
Precisely. And when that DNA fragment turns the A2A lock, it acts like a massive biological alarm clock.
Okay.
It signals the surrounding cells to rapidly decrease inflammation, and more importantly, it kicks fibroblast cells into overdrive.
And fibroblasts are the factories in your skin that manufacture fresh collagen and elastin, right?
Exactly. So by injecting the salmon DNA, dermatologists were basically tricking the skin into hyper repair mode.
I mean, I can completely understand how taking a needle, bypassing the skin barrier entirely, and dropping that DNA directly onto those cellular receptors would work miracles.
Oh, for sure.
But here is where I have to throw some healthy skepticism at this sheet mask. The human skin's primary biological job is to keep foreign invaders out.
It's a defensive wall.
Right. So how does a massive complex DNA molecule,
Correct.
something literally meant for a hypodermic needle, actually do anything when you just smear it on the surface of your face?
That is the magic question.
Isn't trying to absorb a traditional PDRN molecule topically kind of like trying to fit a basketball through a keyhole?
Yes. That is the fundamental flaw with almost every single topical PDRN cream or serum on the market right now.
Really?
Yeah. The stratum corneum, which is the outermost layer of your skin, is built like a tightly packed brick wall. Standard salmon-derived PDRN molecules are enormous.
So they're the basketball.
Exactly. They act exactly like a basketball hitting that wall. They just sit on the surface. I mean, maybe they provide a little temporary surface moisture, but they are physically incapable of penetrating deep enough to reach those A2A receptors.
Not without a needle anyway.
Right. Or without specialized delivery technology.
So basically, you're paying for clinical grade DNA repair, but you're just wiping it on a layer of dead skin cells.
Which is a huge waste of money.
Which brings us to the hyper part of the MEDIHEAL Hyper PDRN Mask. To solve the basketball and keyhole problem, MEDIHEAL had to figure out how to fundamentally change the molecular structure of the DNA itself.
They had to shrink the basketball.
They had to shrink it. And their solution is honestly brilliant.
It really is. They looked completely outside the animal kingdom. The hyper in the product name actually refers to a massive proprietary breakthrough in extraction.
Wait, so no more fish?
No more fish. MEDIHEAL completely swapped out the traditional salmon DNA for a plant-based, vegan-friendly alternative. They formulated a low molecular weight PDRN derived specifically from the white rose.
A white rose. That is so wild. And here is this staggering detail from the Dewyfile article that just blew my mind.
Oh, the size difference.
Yes, this rose-derived PDRN isn't just a little bit smaller. It is 250 times smaller than the conventional animal-based PDRN.
Which is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. And that structural difference changes the entire physics of skincare absorption.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's no longer a basketball. It's like a grain of sand.
Exactly. It slides right through the mortar of that cellular brick wall.
It's absolutely fascinating that nature's hack, shifting to a botanical source, actually provides vastly superior penetration than the original medical-grade animal source.
It really flips the script on what we think of as clinical strength.
Right. You get a functional upgrade, and as a bonus, you don't have to think about fish sperm while you're relaxing on the couch.
Definitely a win-win. And what's fascinating here is the biomimicry involved. By utilizing that ultra-low molecular white rose PDRN, cosmetic chemists have engineered a way for those complex cellular repair signals to bypass the stratum corneum topically.
Wow.
They are essentially delivering clinical-level tissue repair without the needle.
But getting the PDRN through the keyhole is only step one, right? Because once that tiny DNA fragment is inside the skin barrier, it is highly volatile.
Very volatile.
If you don't have a supporting cast of ingredients and a physical delivery system to lock it in place, it just evaporates into thin air.
Right. A sophisticated active ingredient is entirely useless if the surrounding formulation doesn't support its retention. The vehicle matters just as much as the cargo.
And looking at the formula Dewyfile breaks down, the cargo here is stacked.
Yeah.
Let's look at the cellular mechanics of what they paired with this rose PDRN. First, they included low molecular hyaluronic acid.
Which follows the exact same principle we just talked about.
Right. Standard hyaluronic acid is too big, it just sits on top of the skin. But this low molecular variant slips deep into the tissue.
And once it's down there, it can hold 1,000 times its weight in water, literally plumping the skin from the inside out.
Which is incredible. Then there's squalane.
Squalane is crucial for barrier defense. What makes it unique is that its molecular structure is virtually identical to human sebum.
Sebum being the natural oil your face produces.
Exactly. And because it's a structural twin to our own biology, the skin's immune system recognizes it as self.
Oh, that's clever.
It really is. That means it absorbs instantly to reinforce the lipid barrier without triggering an inflammatory response.
And inflammation is what usually causes clogged pores and breakouts from heavy oils, right?
Spot on.
Okay, then we have panthenol, or provitamin B5.
This one raises an important question about how ingredients synergize. Panthenol doesn't just sit there. When it makes contact with the skin, it chemically converts into pantothenic acid.
Okay, and what does that do?
This acid is clinically proven to accelerate the healing of microwounds and drastically reduce transepidermal water loss.
So, if we think of it like a construction site.
Yeah, the white rose PDRN is the architect signaling the cells to repair, while the panthenol is a construction crew actively sealing up the worksite so moisture can't escape.
I love that analogy. And the final heavy hitter is adenosine. The source points out this is one of the very few ingredients officially approved by the KFDA for wrinkle improvement.
It's a powerhouse.
It is. And the way adenosine works at a microscopic level is wild. It's a nucleoside that naturally occurs in our bodies to form ATP, which is essentially pure cellular energy.
And as we age, unfortunately, our cellular energy drops.
Naturally. But adding adenosine topically gives those tired skin cells an immediate energy drink. It allows them to perform the exhausting work of collagen synthesis.
So you have this incredibly potent, meticulously engineered cocktail. But applying a liquid essence to the face usually results in rapid evaporation.
Right, it just flashes off.
Exactly. You need a mechanism to force this liquid past the barrier over an extended period.
And Dewyfile notes that MEDIHEAL uses a proprietary encapsulation system called bioemulsum technology. Now, a lot of brands talk about time release, but the way this physically works is brilliant.
It is. What's fascinating here is that the bioemulsum is effectively a microscopic sphere. You have an outer shell made of lipids or oils and an inner core holding the water-soluble ingredients.
Like the PDRN and the hyaluronic acid.
Exactly.
Like to picture it like an M&M candy.
Oh, that's a perfect visual.
Right. Because if you just splash a bucket of nutrient water on your face, it's like throwing a water balloon at a wall.
It bursts, splashes everywhere, and it dries up in 5 minutes.
Exactly. But the bioemulsum is an M&M. When it makes contact with the natural warmth and oils of your face, that lipid shell slowly dissolves.
It creates a controlled, steady release.
Yeah, of the active core melting into your skin over the entire 15 to 20 minutes you are wearing the mask.
And that sustained, slow drip engagement prevents the skin barrier from being overwhelmed. It ensures the active molecules reach their target depth without evaporating into the air.
But all of this high-tech formulation, I mean, the 250 times smaller DNA, the M&M delivery system, the ATP energy boost, it is completely worthless if you just slap the mask on incorrectly.
User error is the biggest hurdle in skincare.
It really is. And the deep dive gets very specific here, detailing an exact user manual required to get that famous translucent glass skin result.
Though before diving into the protocol, it is vital to address skin compatibility.
Oh, good point.
Because hearing about DNA manipulation and deep cellular penetration often triggers red flags for anyone with sensitive or reactive skin.
It sounds intense.
It does. But the source confirms this specific mask undergoes strict dermatological testing in Germany.
And the European Union has some of the most rigorous, unforgiving cosmetic regulations on the planet.
They do not mess around.
It's not at all. It is hypoallergenic, completely free of harsh alcohols, parabens, and silicones. So whether you have mature skin that needs the adenosine or acne-prone skin that needs the anti-inflammatory calming of the PDRN, the formula is adaptable.
But you still have to follow the rules.
Yes. The 6-step rulebook. Step 1. Double cleanse. You use an oil cleanser first to break down stubborn sebum and sunscreen, followed by a water-based cleanser to wash it all away.
And this is non-negotiable. Any microscopic film of makeup or hardened oil left on the surface will instantly block that low molecular PDRN from entering the pore. The pathway must be entirely clear.
Step 2. Apply toner while the skin is still slightly damp. Think of your skin like a kitchen sponge.
Oh, right.
If a sponge is bone dry, water just rolls right off it, but if it's slightly damp, it instantly absorbs anything you put on it.
Exactly.
Step 3. Apply the mask and smooth out every single air pocket. The bioemulsum technology relies on physical contact to melt those lipid shells.
No floating edges.
None. But step 4. This is the absolute golden rule. You must remove the mask after 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes. Neglecting this step is the single most common error people make with sheet masks.
I used to do it all the time.
So many people do. They assume that leaving it on longer, perhaps while watching an entire movie or even sleeping in it, forces more hydration into the skin.
Which makes logical sense, but it's completely wrong.
It is. The physics of how sheet masks operate is governed by an osmotic gradient. Moisture always moves from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration.
Meaning, as long as the mask is wetter than your face, the hydration is pushing inward.
Exactly. But the exact opposite happens once the fabric begins to dry.
Oh, no.
If the ambient air dries out the cotton sheet to the point where it holds less moisture than your skin, reverse osmosis triggers.
That sounds bad.
It's terrible.
Huh.
The mask becomes a dry sponge and physically vacuums the hyaluronic acid and water back out of your tissue.
That is genuinely terrifying. You could leave it on for 45 minutes thinking you're doing your skin a huge favor, and you are actively dehydrating your cellular barrier.
Exactly. Set a timer, 20 minutes max.
Moving to step 5. Once you peel it off, pat the remaining essence into the skin gently. Do not wipe it off with a towel.
Let it sink in.
And finally, step 6. Lock everything in with a ceramide-rich moisturizer. You just spent 20 minutes delivering tiny M&Ms of DNA deep into your skin. The moisturizer is the final lid that seals them inside to do their work overnight.
Following that precise chemical and physical protocol ensures the engineered molecules function as intended.
And for anyone prepping for a major event like a wedding, a photo shoot, a huge presentation, the Dewyfile article drops an incredible pro tip.
The 3-day protocol.
Yes, they call it the 3-day glass skin protocol. Instead of just using it once, you apply this specific mask 3 consecutive nights in a row.
And the results compound.
They really do. By day 3, that compounding low molecular hydration creates a profound, translucent plumpness. It completely changes the way light reflects off your face.
Which is the literal definition of glass skin. It's
Yeah.
deep structural hydration, not just surface shine.
Yet this brings us to a rather perplexing reality. Here's where it gets really interesting and honestly a little dangerous.
Yeah, this is the catch.
If the science of plant-based PDRN is this effective, and the clinical results are this dramatic, why can't you just walk down to the local drugstore and pick one up?
Right.
You cannot buy the MEDIHEAL Hyper PDRN mask at Sephora, Ulta, Target, or Walmart. It simply hasn't hit mainstream U.S. brick-and-mortar retail yet.
Which is frustrating.
And the immediate instinct for most of us is to just open the Amazon app and search for it. But the source issues a massive glaring warning. Do not do that.
Please don't. The global explosion of K-beauty demand has spawned a highly sophisticated, incredibly lucrative counterfeit market.
It's everywhere.
And when you are dealing with a complex formulation relying on ultra-low molecular extraction, a counterfeit isn't just a benign waste of your money. It is a literal hazard to your skin barrier.
Because you think you are buying healing white rose DNA and skin-identical squalane.
Right.
But counterfeiters operating on large third-party marketplaces often substitute those expensive actives with cheap industrial solvents, synthetic fragrances, and heavy silicones.
Stuff that just sits on the skin and suffocates the pores.
Exactly. You are rolling the dice on severe chemical burns or massive acne breakouts.
Which highlights why understanding the distribution channel is just as vital as understanding the ingredient list.
So where do you get it?
Dewyfile, the K-beauty site providing today's intel, secures their authenticated supply by sourcing directly from Olive Young Korea's official distribution network.
And for those who don't know, Olive Young is the absolute titan of beauty retail in South Korea. They are essentially the Korean equivalent of Sephora, but with even stricter vetting.
Exactly. By routing the product exclusively through that official corporate channel, they guarantee chemical authenticity and safe, secure shipping across the U.S.
So what does this all mean? It means we are living in a wild era of global skincare.
We really are.
The scientific advancements crossing borders right now are just phenomenal. But it also means you have to be vigilant. Knowing the mechanics of A2A receptors, ATP energy, and time-release emulsions is incredibly empowering.
Knowledge is power.
But if you don't know exactly whose warehouse the box actually shipped from, you are quite literally putting your face on the line. Protect your barrier and protect your wallet.
Absolutely. And, if we connect all of this back to the bigger picture, it leaves us with a truly profound concept to ponder.
Okay, what's that?
We've seen how cosmetic chemists successfully manipulated plant biology, taking white rose extracts and isolating a molecule 250 times smaller than the clinical animal variant. They created a botanical delivery system capable of slipping massive DNA repair fragments right through the defensive brick wall of the skin barrier, and they're delivering hospital-grade tissue regeneration for the cost of a sheet mask.
It's wild when you put it like that.
It raises a monumental question. What does this mean for the future of medicine as a whole?
Oh, wow.
If we can achieve this level of targeted, deep tissue cellular manipulation topically using plants, could these ultra-low molecular delivery systems eventually replace painful medical injections for other treatments entirely?
It's an incredible thought. We started today by talking about that rigid boundary between the sterile doctor's office and your bathroom sink.
Oh.
But if you can shrink the basketball to fit through the keyhole without ever using a hypodermic needle, that boundary doesn't just blur, it disappears entirely.
It really does.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the mechanics behind your routines, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.